Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video, and yes, as I teased in the last review, and you read the title, yes, I'm of course reviewing Illumination's first animated feature film, and finally, yes, I am reviewing Despicable Me. Yes, Despicable Me. Oh boy, I have so many good memories of this film. I remember when, the teaser trailer was released. I remember, when the rest of the trailers were released, the TV spots, and I think, I really can't remember, but I might have seen this in theaters, maybe. But I do remember seeing the first sequel in theaters, so yeah. Again, maybe I did see the first one in theaters, and man, this film coming out the same year when other great animated films were coming out, such as Toy Story 3, Shrek Forever After, Tangled, How to Train Your Dragon, and so on. Just a lot of great animated feature films out that year, and and Despicable Me being one of them, and for it being the first animated feature of this new animation studio. Yeah, and yeah, the first, Illumination's first animated film and, the first Despicable Me film, it did not disappoint. This turned out to be such a huge success and, such an animation icon, animated feature film icon. You get my point. God, and especially the Minions. We'll get to the Minions in just a couple minutes. But first, the story. When a criminal mastermind uses a trio of orphan girls as pawns for a grand scheme, he finds their love is profoundly changing him for the better. Yeah, so, basically, our main character, Gru, being voiced by the one and only Steve Carell, because he starts off being this bad guy, and basically society is, I guess they don't care about bad guys. Like, say, if you have a villain living as a neighbor or something like that, I don't know. Especially because, like his introduction, like he helps out a crying kid with, because ice cream spilled and gives him a animal balloon, but then he pops it, and then he goes into a Starbucks and freezes everybody, freeze ray, and steals the customer's order, and this giant car he has, pretty funny, even like say in the opening, because at one point the pyramids were stolen, and I can't remember, like, I'm not sure if it was Gru's doing, I don't think so, but the other characters, like Dr. Nefario, being voiced by Russell Brand, Gru's scientist who builds all the inventions for Gru. And yes, of course, now let's talk about the Minions. Oh boy, because let me tell you, the Minions definitely blew up. I mean, they've been everywhere, and just their funniness, their personalities, and their language. Just, I'm telling you, because the Minions are such an icon. It's all thanks to this movie. I'm not sure if Illuminations was expecting this. Like, they might have. I just, guarantee you, because, like, oh boy, like, what have we created? But yeah, and my Minions impression, banana, at their laugh, I remember, because the teaser trailer, as I mentioned, I remember when the teaser came out, and it had the Minions, and one of them was laughing at the moo can, the cow, like, you shake the can and it moves, like that. So that was the teaser for Despicable Me. Yeah, because even, like, say, we of course got some Minions that became, the main characters. Tim the Minion, Dave the Minion, and Jerry the Minion. And not to mention, Tim being voiced by Perry Coffin, Dave being voiced by Chris Renaud, if I'm saying that right, and Jerry being voiced by Jermaine Clement. Yeah, I think one of the directors, Yeah, okay, so two of the directors, yeah, they voice the minions. No surprise. Like, sometimes a director of an animated film would voice a character. Like, good example is Chris Wedge voicing Scrat the Squirrel from the Ice Age franchise. So, yeah, there you go. Even some of the Pixar people have done the same thing, too. Yeah, because basically Gru is, I think, like, he's set to like try and capture the moon, but there's a competitor who, is much more of a complete psychopath and lunatic, much more than Gru. Vector, voiced by Jason Segel. Oh boy, Vector for sure blew up. Like, later on, he became a meme. So, and also, Gru's mom, who appears in this, like, in fact, like, she's, like, doing karate, and, this is pretty funny. Gru's mom being voiced by, Dame, Julie Andrews. Yeah, good old Julie Andrews, such an icon. And, Mr. Perkins, like, who's the head of, like, the evil corporation or something, I believe so, being voiced by Will Arnett. Yeah. I think he's Vector's father, I want to say. I'm pretty sure, yeah. Also, you've got the three sisters, and who are the orphans. Margot, being voiced by Miranda Cosgrove, a.k.a. iCarly. Edith, being voiced by Dana Geyer, if I'm saying that right, Geyer, or however you say it. I apologize if I'm pronouncing it wrong. And Agnes, being voiced by Elsie Fisher. Yeah. So, they were pretty good. And, God, especially the orphan house that they live in, and Mrs. Hattie, if I'm saying that right, being voiced by Kristen Wiig, who would go on to voice a brand new main character in the Despicable Me sequels. Yeah. And I kind of forgot about that she did do a voice in the first film, and she voiced the woman who runs the orphanage, and I didn't like her because she was she was horrible in this movie. Like, what was her reasoning to being so horrible to the kids and, like, putting them, like, say, the box of shame? What was the purpose? Like, what's this lady's problem? Jeez. God, and her voice too, Oh, how do you do? Just, why, you little brats. Gosh, she was irritating because basically, like, she's one of those characters that you just gotta hate, you don't like. So, so basically at one point, like, Gru and the minions, like, they try and steal this, device that can shrink things. Like, it's being tested on an elephant, which succeeds. Like, the elephant is now tiny. But at one point, as they do, like, Gru and the minions do get a hold of this, but Vector comes in and, of course, snatches it from them. And even, like, say, a funny sequence where, Gru's trying to sneak in, but, of course, he fails, and Vector, using his weapons and gadgets to just, like, stop him and so on. And not to mention, Vector has a pet shark. But we do see the three girls, like, they actually sell cookies, and that basically gives Gru an idea, especially when at times he goes, light bulb, and, planning to, like, have there be cookies, like, robots disguised as cookies, I should say. And he basically adopts them because, for his misdeeds, you know what I'm saying? His evil schemes and so on. But, as I read the story, because as the film proceeds, he starts to change and grow attached to the three girls. Even, like, say, when Agnes's, like, plush, I think at one point got destroyed. And even, like, say, the minions, they disguise themselves as citizens, like getting one from the store. But then, like, say, other scenes that I can think of that are pretty funny. Like, well, like, when he takes them to sell cookies at Vector's house, and, him and the minions, and the robot cookies going in and, getting the the shrink ray, basically. And of course, they do succeed. But then, of course, like, there's that carnival sequence. You know, he wants to try and get rid of them, and that's the ticket. Like, you know, leave them there at the carnival ride. Like, get them on the roller coaster and then leave. But he has to go on because an adult has to be on a ride with a kid. So, but then, like, as that sequence goes, even, like, say, when, you know, Agnes tries to win a giant stuffed unicorn, you know, so fluffy! This one guy, the Carnival Barker, being voiced by Jack McBrayer. And Jack McBrayer's such a nice guy, and he's voicing a character who's a jerk. Because even when Agnes does win at this carnival game, he's still being a jerk and refuses to have her get the unicorn. But of course, Gru solves that problem by using one of his weapons and shooting, and of course she gets it. Pretty funny. And also, like, we get some flashbacks at times with Gru as a kid, like, dreaming to travel to the moon, and, you know, his mother just being doubtful and so on, just, you know, like, geez, like, what was with her? And so, and then, like, you know, even, like, say, Dr. Nefario, believing that, you know, like, it's just, like, the girls are just getting in the way and so on. And, like, even a montage where, you know, while Gru and the minions and Dr. Nefario are planning to, you know, build the rocket, you know, and go to space and, you know, steal the moon, you know, at times, the three girls, like, getting in the way, and Gru is, of course, at this point, having a great time, you know. Also, like, another character that I forgot to mention, Gru's next-door neighbor, Fred McDad, being voiced by Danny McBride. Yeah, so the guy with the glasses. Yeah, he was pretty funny, too, so. And so, even, like, say, Mindy Kaling, like, she had a voice role, too. She was... Who was she again? Oh, yeah, the tourist mom. Okay, so... and so, and at one point, well, actually, other, like, funny moments and sweet moments, like, you know, they want Gru to read to them a bedtime story, and a story about, you know, 3 little kittens, and, yeah, that was pretty funny. And even, like, say, Gru making the minions be the uncles to the kids. And also, forgot to mention, Gru's, like, dog-like pet. Like, what is he supposed to be? I don't know, but, yeah. Also, another character, the Anchorman, like, you know, who is this mysterious villain, and what will he do next? Being voiced by Rob Hubel. Yeah, I think I got that right. Oh gosh, even Ken Jeong, if I'm saying his last name right, he was a talk show host. He voiced a talk show host, so... I'm trying to remember that, the talk show host. Oh, well. But a sad moment where this was Dr. Nefario's doing. He called the orphanage, having the 3 of them be taken back. And, you know, because, you know, basically just wanting to get Gru to focus and to get this done. And even when, like, say, they go back to the orphanage, they're put in the box of shame. Why? Just... There's something wrong with that lady, I'm telling you. Just, like, what is with her? Even, like, say, 2 other funny moments, like, that I could think of were, in the washer, like, well, like, even, like, say, the 3 of them, they were, like, taking dance class, like, practicing for, like, a ballerina show or talent show, basically. And in the dryer, because his spacesuit turning pink. That was pretty funny. Actually, I don't know, because the shade of pink was fine on the spacesuit. Even, like, say, another funny moment, Gru in bed, and he pulls the sheets out and sees, like, some of the girls', like, toys, I want to say, and a small, like, mannequin head, and that's a reference to the horse head from The Godfather. Now I know. So, it's pretty funny. And of course, like, you know, Gru still proceeds on with the mission, like getting the moon, in which he does so, but then Vector stepping in once again and taking the girls in, threatening Gru to give him the moon and so on, and a chase in the sky, and of course, the minions and Dr. Nefario helping, and of course, Vector, of course, does get defeated, and basically the moon is growing big again to its proper size, with Vector being stuck on the moon. He's stuck in space, and he's got like an airbag as a helmet, like a space helmet and so on, like the only way for him to breathe in space. That was pretty funny. And of course, one funny moment where he realizes he's out in space and he's like, oh, poop. Yeah, that was a meme as well. So, yeah. And of course, yeah, all ends well. Gru actually created a bedtime story for them, like it was about the unicorns, and it is a puppet book, like sticking his nose through the hole. And the same thing was with the three little kittens, like finger puppets. And afterwards, like Gru kissing them goodnight, and he has to do the same with the minions. Even like say when one minion came back and he was like, "Did I get you already?" And the ending, like a dance party, in a couple, like, as we've seen in other animated films, like, there being a dance party. And one cool shot where, yeah, the three girls and Gru, they're outside, like, and they see the moon. And even, like, say, Vector is dancing as well. And not to mention, there was one minion throughout the film where he drank a potion that made him float. And, like, even Gru was wondering, is he ever going to come back down? Like, is it going to wear off? And, oh, he'll get down eventually, as Dr. Nefario says. And we see him in space. He's dancing, too. Like, is this minion ever going to... Is this potion ever going to wear off? Like, And the end credits, like, that go on, like, the minions are trying to reach for the screen, And I think they did, at one point, they did break the screen. And, like, the minion, like, obviously, like, behind the projection room, making, like, shadow puppets and making one of Gru. It seems like Gru's not pleased, but then, Gru does kind of chuckle. Yeah, that was a funny way to end the movie. I'm telling you, Despicable Me, like, what a great animated feature film this was. And again, for this being Illumination's first ever animated feature film, and boy, what would come next for Illumination, as we all know? Yeah. And how do I rate Despicable Me? Good question. Well, what the heck? I'm giving this a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 stars for the first Despicable Me film. And what about you guys? What did you think of the first Despicable Me film itself? And what did you think of my review? Leave comments and give this review a like, as always. So, with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of the first Despicable Me film. More reviews coming your way. They're gonna be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video/review. And still gonna be celebrating the release of the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Got 2 more video game movie adaptations to review. And the next one, well, this one is all about a bad guy who is actually a pretty nice guy, and he's a wrecker. You probably know what I'm talking about. Stay tuned for that. Take care, and peace out.